What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for PlayPicks.com and TheLines.com. Going to talk to you a little bit about Sunday Night Football between the Cowboys and the Saints. But while you're here, please hit that subscribe button. Please like this video. Please leave us a comment down there and let us know who you're playing, how you're playing this game, what you're doing this whole weekend, how things are going. We certainly want to keep the conversation going with you guys. This channel is completely free, so we're going to post things on here. You'll be the first to be updated, so if you hit that subscribe button, you'll know what's going on there. Of course, we're talking about this full article here at playpicks.com. If you want to head over here and take a look, you can read. You can also go to thelines.com, go to the NFL tab up here, and then click on Sunday Night Football, and you can look at how this looks full right up here on thelines.com as well. Of course, as always, you can head to, if you want to take advantage of any of these awesome sportsbook offers we have, you can do as well. $25 absolutely free at DraftKings, William Hill, FanDuel, Caesars, PointsBet, wherever you want to bet. The very best offers out there. You can just head to dkpicks.com if you want to take advantage of the DraftKings thing as well. So let's talk a little bit about this, guys. Look at the lines here for this game. I'll scroll a little bit if you want to read along with how Eston thinks this game is going to go. But it's Cowboys and the Saints here, and Cowboys heading over to New Orleans to play the Saints in the Superdome. Over at DraftKings, we're looking at 2.5. Over at Caesars, looking at 2.5. And over at FanDuel, 2.5 in this one in favor of the Cowboys. This thing does, and by the time you watch this, might be toggling back and forth between 3. And you got to remember, with this being a Sunday night football game, lots of money going to come in. People either feeling really good about their day and they want to double down, or people chasing. So a lot of money going to come in here, probably going to come in on the Cowboys pushing this thing to 3. So if you want the Cowboys at 2.5, I would suggest going ahead and getting that now. If you want the Saints, I would just keep monitoring, because this thing is going to keep hitting 3, maybe bounce back down once it hits 3. Some people will keep getting on the Saints, but it'll definitely keep toggling back and forth between 2.5 and 3. So just keep an eye if you want the Saints at 3. Definitely going to come back up probably a few different times throughout the course of today. So weather, dome game, so don't have to worry about that. Obviously, over there, the Superdome in New Orleans, Cowboys 3-0 coming off, listen, what everyone's pointing to as far as schedule and how bad the schedule is. They played the Giants, the Redskins, and Dolphins, but listen, the Cowboys can only play who are on their schedule. They can only play the teams that are in front of them. So again, Giants, Redskins, Dolphins is who they've got so far, but it is what it is. On the Saints side, they went up to Seattle, won outright as 5-point underdogs last week. Of course, that came on a special teams touchdown. That also came on a defensive touchdown. So maybe if you read between the lines there was that game was a little bit closer. Alvin Kamara went absolutely nuts in that game. 69 rush yards, 92 receiving yards. And if you actually were watching, nobody takes this guy down the first opportunity. It's unbelievable. As far as injuries go in this thing, of course, on the Cowboys side, they're still dealing with Michael Gallup being out, that number 2 wide receiver for them that looked like they had formed a real good bond between him and Dak Prescott. He has continued to be out, probably another couple weeks for them as well. On the Saints side, Traquan Smith is out. He was more of kind of like a 4th option, 4th, 5th option in the pass game, but still worth noting that he is out in this thing. Cowboys offense, I'll keep scrolling if you want to take a gander at how Eston thinks that this game is going to go here. Look, Dak Prescott has been amazing. And now these statistics a lot of these are adjusted, so it doesn't matter that they played weak competition. We're talking number 1 in completion percentage, number 1 in adjusted completion percentage, number 1 in expected completion percentage, and that's according to Next Gen Stats. Number 1 in on-target percentage and catchable ball percentage, that is according to Sports Info Solutions. Number 1 in accuracy percentage, that's on nocheckdowns.com. So all of these different sites have all ranked Dak Prescott the best so far in the league. Short season, small sample size, still the best in the league so far. Now, this Dallas Cowboys team averaging 179 rush yards a game. They're number 2 overall in the NFL at 7.4 yards per play. And this is from Next Gen Stats here. If you were leaning towards the Cowboys in this one, just something to take away with you. Since Kellen Moore took over as offensive coordinator for this team, Dallas has run into fewer stacked boxes, and a stacked box is 8 defenders lined up in the box. And it's increased the light box, which is 6 or fewer in the box. And that is by over 14%. So Zeke Elliott is actually seeing much better boxes to run into than in years past. When Kellen Moore took over here, the teams just respect this pass game a lot more, not stacking the box. They're averaging 1.2 more yards per rush versus light boxes this season than last. So again, Kellen Moore's influence here on this offense has certainly shown so far in the early season, and defenses and teams are taking note. Saints offense, look, Teddy Bridgewater's in for Drew Brees. We don't have to tell you that. Alvin Kamara is still a stud. There's no doubt about that. I imagine the Dallas Cowboys are going to watch that tape from last week and say, Teddy Bridgewater, you want to beat us to the air, you can go right ahead, but we're not going to let Alvin Kamara beat us. Here's the thing. You look and you say, oh, Teddy threw for 177. That's not all that bad. If you look a little bit deeper, his air yards was actually fewer than 40. The ball actually traveled in the air, fewer than 40 yards. This was Alvin Kamara getting things done after the catch here, is how Teddy Bridgewater even got to 177 yards in that game. The Saints offense with Teddy Bridgewater far less potent than when Drew Brees, as you would expect. The pace in this one, Saints 24th in situation neutral, Cowboys 7th in situation neutral. But remember kind of who they've played so far. I imagine this thing will kind of come back down a little bit, probably play a little bit slower than league average is my guess in this game here. Cowboys defense, number 1 in pro football. I'll actually click over here to the lines if you want to read along and see what the breakdown is over here on the lines. Number 1 in Football Outsiders rush defense, DVOA. Number 2 in pass defense, DVOA. Generated pressure on nearly 43% of opponents' dropbacks. Now, bad competition, still NFL players though. Nearly half of their opponents' dropbacks, they've created some sort of pressure. On the Saints side, they've allowed 436 total yards per game. That is the 5th most in the league so far. They've allowed 301.7 passing yards per game, 19 plays of 20 or more yards. Only 6 teams are allowing more than the Saints, 27.3 points per game that they have allowed so far this season. We'll go back over here and we'll take a look at these game lines again. 247.5. Here's the money line, 141 and 125 on the comeback here. Let's make a case if we wanted to, and we'll look at Caesars here. They have it at 48, and then over here at FanDuel, they're at 47.5. So either way, if you wanted to take the over, you could go to DraftKings or FanDuel. So let's make a case for the over in this one, and that is that this Cowboys offense continues to roll like they have been, even through the lesser competition. But let's be for real. This Saints defense, especially the secondary and the pass defense, is very exploitable. So if they happen to say, you know what, look, the Saints, this is what you do well. You defend the run well. We're going to go through the air. Obviously, there's bigger chances for splash plays whenever you go through the air. And maybe with Teddy Bridgewater under center, this really good defense the Cowboys have, maybe they end up getting a turnover. Maybe they get a short field. Maybe there's some sort of special teams touchdown as well. This is how we're going to kind of get to the over in that sort of situation. Saints fall behind early, have to abandon the run. They start gunning back and forth because the Cowboys are up a couple scores. So that's how we could get to the over in this game at 47.5 here. If we're looking at the under, we would head over to Caesars anyway. We'll take that half point right here at 48. If we're looking at the under here, this could be just a slow paced. Again, the Saints 24th situation neutral, and maybe they get Latavius Murray back into the mix here. Maybe they really start to lean on Alvin Kamara. Maybe the Cowboys as well decide they get stubborn. Maybe Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore get a little bit stubborn, and they decide they're going to run the ball come hell or high water, even though the Saints, that's the one thing they do really, really well. They paid Zeke the money. They still have Pollard behind him, who, by the way, had like the quietest 100-yard rushing game ever last week, but Pollard rushed for 100 yards. And maybe this is a situation where they look at it and say, you know what, we're going to run the ball. We don't care. And when that's the case, obviously, if you're going to run the ball and you want to establish the run, hashtag team establish the run, then clock keeps ticking. Things go under here. Saints play good rush defense. The Cowboys defense continues to play good defense like they have all year long. And we're looking at a game that falls under the 48. Teddy Bridgewater's not able to get anything going through the air, and they're not able to do their part in trying to get this thing over. As far as player props go in this one, we'll go over here to DraftKings, robust menu here of player props. This is pretty interesting to me. Teddy Bridgewater, the passing yards at 219. So really how you want to play this is how you're going to tell the narrative of how this game goes. Do you think the Saints keep this thing close? you could probably pretty confidently lean to the under, because if they're keeping this thing close, then they're going to be running the ball a lot. They're going to be relying on Alvin Kamara, right? So if that's the case, then Teddy's not going to be putting in the air very often. However, if you think they fall behind early in this game, or if you think they're just going to be trailing the entire game, you could look at the over on the Teddy Bridgewater passing here, because they are going to have to go to the air early and often if you think they fall behind in this game. And if that's the case, which I kind of lean towards, I actually a little bit lean to the over of the 219 here for Teddy Bridgewater. I think the Saints are going to have to play catch up in this game. I think the Cowboys are going to go out and do pretty well here. And of course, if you look at this, I mean, pretty decent odds here on Zeke and Kamara just to score overall. I mean, yeah, you got to lay $1.39 or $1.25, but let's be for real. I mean, these guys are scoring nearly every single game out there. So certainly don't hate that. And if you wanted to take a flyer on either one of them being the first to score 550 and 600, don't hate that either. As far as the game line goes here, guys, I am already down on the Cowboys at 2.5. But one of the things I would even almost recommend, depending on when you get in on these guys, and so be sure and take a look. So you can see some of this stuff is starting to get juiced here. 2.5, say you play at FanDuel, 2.5, 115. I would almost rather just take the money line at 144 here and not have to worry even about the 2.5 points here. See juice to 120 over here at Caesars. Wouldn't play the 150 there. I think I would just head over here to DraftKings where you've got the 141. There's no juice on this one, so if you want to take 2.5, that's perfectly fine. But if you start going in here and they're hesitant to move to 3 and they start juicing the number, just look at the money line, because sometimes those don't move in tandem here, and it would be better to just take the money line at 140-ish, let's say, as opposed to, you know, the 2.5 and having to pay 120. So certainly something I would be looking at here. Overall, guys, I just think at the end of the day, the Cowboys are a superior team, kind of top to bottom at this point. I mean, whenever you look, is there really a discernible difference between Zeke and Alvin Kamara? Not really. Is there really a huge difference between, you know, the defensive line for the Cowboys and the Saints? Not really. Is there a better secondary for the Cowboys? Absolutely. Is there a better offensive line for the Cowboys? Absolutely. Is there a better quarterback for the Cowboys? Absolutely. I understand that it's going to be a night game there in New Orleans. I know better than most. I'm from Louisiana. I've been to games down there in the Superdome. I know they're going to have all day to drink. I know they're going to have all day to get loud and rowdy and crazy. So totally understand that. But at less than a field goal, I mean, that's all baked into this line, right? I mean, everyone understands the Cowboys are on the road. It's going to be a crazy crowd. That's baked into this line here. It's not like this is something that the bookmakers don't understand, don't know already. So for me, at less than a field goal, I'm playing the Cowboys. I've had some people come to me and say that this is an interesting teaser leg for them. I totally understand that. A short home dog, and of course the home dog being the Saints in this situation, teasing that thing from 2.5 up to 8 if you wanted to kind of close out a teaser leg with that. I certainly don't hate it. I don't think the Cowboys run away with this thing or anything like that. So if you wanted to play this game like that, I can understand if you feel like you want to be a little bit more safe, but I'm already on the Cowboys at 2.5. If you want to get on it, I suggest getting on it, like we said, at the top here. I do believe that the money will start rolling in here as we get closer to kickoff. I do think this thing, I mean, we're already seeing it getting heavily juiced over here, 2.5 at 120 over here at Caesars. You can see it's even juiced here at FanDuel as well. So this thing's going to get to 3 for sure. So if you want the 2.5, I would suggest going ahead and getting in there and get after it. Guys, really appreciate you watching the video. Really appreciate you guys helping us out over at Play Picks and the lines. Of course, as we mentioned, you can head over here to the lines. You can click on this NFL tab up here. Click on Sunday Night Football. You can roll down. And if you're over in Jersey or in Pennsylvania, you can take advantage of all of the awesome offers we have. $25 absolutely free at DraftKings. You have to do nothing other than sign up. Same thing over at Caesars. All you have to do is sign up. It's absolutely free. Matching bets, free bets, all the kind of stuff like that. PointsBet, BetMGM, all of those different places. So pretty awesome. And of course, we have the odds feed that we're really proud of here as well. You can toggle between New Jersey and Pennsylvania odds, spreads, totals, whatever you want to do there as well. Guys, please subscribe to the page. Please like the video. Let us know in the comments who you're playing. Appreciate it. We're not going to win them all, but we're damn sure going to try.